Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today, focusing in a little bit more in depth on the covert narcissist and their manipulation tactic of the victim mentality. You got it, that is right. The covert narcissist who has a heightened and exasperated sense of self-importance, controls others through withdrawal of communication, withdrawal of information, lack of emotional intelligence actually bolsters a victim mentality. You will find this very surprisingly so in a covert narcissist. And remember that a covert narcissist is a pathology, it's a personality disorder. It's defined as a cluster B personality disorder as defined by the DSM-5R, the statistic manual utilized by mental health professionals to diagnose and treat mental disorders. And it's generally the other person involved with the covert narcissist who enters into the psychological community for help, for being involved in a trauma, experiencing complex PTSD symptoms, other eating disorders, spending disorders, obsessive compulsive, basically, a disorder, a dysfunction as a result of being involved with a covert narcissist. And so essentially, these are experienced as a reaction to involvement with a covert narcissist. So this dysfunction usually is shorter lived than that of the covert narcissist, who will perpetuate this as a continual lifelong character disorder, but yet is experienced on a temporary basis for those victims or quote unquote supply people that are involved with their life. So, how does the covert narcissist, surprisingly so, I think this is one of our more surprising of the cluster B narcissists, and we delve into a lot of that here in this channel, from psychopathy to, the overt narcissist, the borderline. But, how do they manipulate through the victim mentality? The covert narcissist has a very sort of meek, shy, underperforming sense of self, kind of like the poor me, I'm so strong. Poor me, I'm the sore, like I'm the beautiful loser. Poor me, pity party, yet, I'm going to control you, I'm going to exploit you through this sort of victim mentality that I express in my life. So it's not so much that the covert narcissist expresses this verbally, where they say, I worked so hard to get here in my life. This sort of tale of woes that gets you on their side. It's more, because we all admire those people who have worked hard. Perhaps, coming from meek beginnings and all the obstacles that they had to overcome. The story, of the hero. We love those stories, or at least most people do. They can relate to it. The tale of the immigrant, the tale of overcoming a disability, or overcoming a label in their society and then rising up above it and turning it into a positive. This alchemy of transcendence, of heroic virtue. The urban cowboy who rises up out of the city and then makes a name for themselves against all odds. So all these stories that we can relate to, which is coming from humble beginnings and then rising up, and then the tale of their success, how they did it, why they did it, their inspiration. All those really are profound and move us forward as a humanity and as a culture. And oftentimes these are, these stories, have universal truths which we relate to, and then can, use us as moral exemplary to move us further as a society. So these are very positive. But the victim mentality, the poor me mentality, is not exemplified in a positive way in a covert narcissist. It's like the poor me, you need to do this for me. I expect you to do this and this and this, and I don't give back. So it's a very sort of insidious sort of sensitivity that this covert narcissist lives by, which is that victim mentality. So a victim mentality means, that they're hurt, they are wounded, they are meek, they can't do this and this for themselves, which they can, but they use this as a ploy, as a tool to manipulate and control others to taking care of them, providing for them, being there for them. And it's in such a way that others don't receive from them the way that they should. So I find this very difficult for a lot of my clients to work through, because this covert narcissist seems to have this really heightened sensitivity. So they're very prone to being criticized or being confronted, and don't have the emotional intelligence to kind of process it and work through it in an outright productive manner. So it's like we can work through it and like move on, and it's no longer plaguing us. So this sort of victim mentality that they possess is it's a tactic. It's a way to create sympathy, and it's a way to control others through sympathy, and especially those who have a lot of heart to them. They hear these kind of sob stories, and so they feel like they can never leave their side. It's kind of like the wounded puppy syndrome, where you see this like wounded puppy or this wounded bird, and you want to stop, and like you don't want to leave them because like they could be cannibalized by another creature or whatever. So you tend to have this being drawn to them in this inexplicable way. This wounded puppy, this wounded bird, this wounded duck, like that. You feel like they're so cute, or that they're so lovable and they need so much love, so I want to just pour so much love onto them, and they're easy to love, and so, but you don't realize that this is kind of a manipulation tool when they plead the victim. And it's not good for you to continue in this relationship treating them as a victim or behaving in that way, because in essence it becomes like a victim in a elephant in the room. They're constantly not able to lift a finger to do certain things in their household. They're not able to acknowledge you as a spouse, or give you the love and attention that you need. They're not able to guide and supportive of their kids the way that they should be. They tend to starve out their family emotionally, but yet they're a provider in some way. So it's like they're an integral part of the family, but there's really kind of an energy suck, which can be really exacerbated by this victim mentality. Again, it's like they're wounded inside, but yet they have this superiority about themselves. They're wounded inside, but they have a very large ego. They're wounded inside, and they have this kind of stinging nature about them, yet they're very docile and laid back, and easygoing. So, realize that this victim mentality should really be called out. If you're involved with a covert narcissist, you have to be assertive, you have to be confrontational a little bit about them, and realize that, chances are the confrontation isn't going to go anywhere. They're not going to really feel that they've done anything wrong. It's just kind of like they're just going to give you an answer like, this is the way it is, this is how I am, it's always been this way, and so you're not going to get any progress. See, that's the manipulation ploy. That's the manipulation tactic. It's where they get to constantly be above, and then you are below. You never get to understand where they're at, so you just tend to kind of see that you're just this underling, and you're never going to receive. And so if you just continue there, you're going to continue to be, a supply to them until you break the cycle, until the pain is great enough, until you've been, starved out enough, you've suffered enough, you have felt, such an imbalance in the relationship that you can't take it anymore, and that you've now noticed it. And, it's just too much work on your end to bear. The cross is too great. The pain is too great. The emotional stagnation in the relationship is too great. It has to be resolved, because really the human body and the human mind is not meant to really stay in a state of imbalance for very long. It creates a lot of emotional stress. It creates like a tension, you could, so like you could cut it with a knife sort of feeling. So, you have to be able to be assertive enough to call out that victim mentality and realize that it's just a mask. It's just really a facade. It's a fake self. And they're really competent, they're really capable, but their emotional, like lack of emotional intelligence keeps them there. Like they just don't know that they can give up that victim mentality. I mean, they do, but they don't. It's like, they kind of feel that they've done something wrong, or think that they can change it, but they don't. They just, it's because of their heightened sense of superiority that they have that to always fall back on. And they will always fall back on that. They will always perpetuate that. And, that's how they keep their supply going, is through that, poor me victim mentality. So everybody else has to follow them, take care of the wounded puppy, the wounded duck syndrome. And so unless you want a fixer-upper sort of spouse, or a high maintenance sort of spouse, where it's all about them and not really about you and your needs getting met, then that is something that you have to agree to in your life, and live a somewhat stifled experience, therefore. Otherwise, you can cut it free, let it go, and, allow them to be in that cycle. And furthermore, honor the drive within yourself to release that victim mentality so you can live a more fulfilling, expansive life the way you're meant to be in your own destiny. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.